Okay, welcome to another session with Toby at home with the fam and that. Answering questions that didn't get answered, or maybe did get answered, but I'm revisiting from the digital busking sessions. I've literally just finished doing a digital busking session, haven't I, ladies?
What day is it today? I don't even know.
Is it the 6th of May?
7th.
7th of May. So it's the 7th of May, and it was the 7th digital busking session. Planned it. Yeah, and it was good. It was quite a different one because it was all my solo stuff. I felt a little bit of red light fever actually tonight, which if anyone knows what that is, that's code for feeling nervous. But anyway, I hope you enjoyed it. And yeah, ask away, ladies. Who's going to start?
So we're going to ask any questions that were not able to be answered on the live tonight.
Yeah.
There was quite a few. So I'll start off.
Are we doing the whole 30 seconds thing again then?
Yes. So the idea is for Toby to try and answer quick fire round, not massive hour-long explanations.
Shut it.
Just 30 seconds.
I don't know what you're talking about.
Catherine Lucas,
Cheers.
you haven't posted any book reviews for a while. What is in your to-read pile at the moment?
Oh, I've got loads at the moment. So I've started. I've literally just received a load of stuff from Amazon. Of Stephen King paperbacks. So I'm catching up on a few of the Stephen King, so the Mr. Mercedes series. And I've just got another one. I think it's called If It Bleeds or When It Bleeds or something, which is a compendium of 4 new stories. But I'm also reading an Alan Moore book, which is taking forever, and it's called Jerusalem, and it's his. I don't know what it is really. It's the strangest book, but it's incredible. It's like a very old-fashioned, styled,
30 seconds.
Classic novel that's really, really thick, thousands of pages, and it's all about his life in Northampton, which is odd, but it's a very, very interesting read. So yeah, I've got quite a few things on the go. Next!
How many songs do you think you have written over the years from Paul?
Now, I did try and have a bit of a tot up, not all that long ago, and several hundred. Hard to say. Several hundred. I mean, if you think about the amount of albums I've made, I've been involved with, and I've written on, and you times that by 10, 12, then you could probably times that by 10 again by the amount of songs and ideas that didn't make it. Then there's all the co-writes, blah, blah, blah. It goes on and on. So yes, in the hundreds. So, yeah.
Robbie Harking asks, Chinese or Indian? Which is your favourite takeaway?
Well,
That's so hard.
it is really tough because they're both totally different, aren't they? I think as a push, probably Indian. Yeah.
We never get an Indian.
No, but see, an Indian
No,
sort of like
Indians-
looks like
Yeah.
it's nice. It's
I
a
like-
nice takeaway.
I like Chinese a lot, but I think if someone said, "You've got to choose now," then I think it will probably
In the
be.
voice of Steve Strange.
Yeah, exactly.
Mervyn Stevenson asks if you could have played in any American rock band, which one?
Would be an egg. That's a really good question. I could have played. Well, I suppose it'd have to be if I'd have a song in it. When I very nearly did. Well, the myth. It's a bit of a myth, really. I didn't very nearly join Van Halen, but I was on a short list for Van Halen, and that would have been amazing, wouldn't it? Singing for Van Halen, having toured with them and all the rest of it, and just being a massive fan of the band. But they're quintessential American rock band, so I don't know whether sort of a blonde-haired, curly-haired person like me would have suited them, but English person. But yeah, probably Van Halen. Aerosmith maybe, but they've got one of the greatest frontmen of all time, so they're probably not going to need another.
Sarah Atkin asks, is there a full video for the Planet Rock All Stars song, You're the Voice?
Well, not really. No, we tried to kind of get like a video together, which we did do. Jay Hillier, the filmmaker that I work with, he put together something for us, which was, I think they just used for publicity. It wasn't a kind of like a proper music video because we didn't really have enough time to put it together. It was everyone was, contributing stuff from all over from overseas, and sort of it was coming in at odd times. So we tried to get everyone to send a bit of film in, but it didn't really work. Kind of worked, but didn't didn't really work.
Matt Mead asks, is it harder to scream as you get older, i.e. do you want to riot, etc.?
I haven't found it any more or less difficult. I just don't do it as much. I'm not as interested in doing that sort of vocal stuff anymore. It seemed to be very important when I was a young boy. I seem to think that was my calling card, and maybe it was for a while. But as you get older, your voice deepens. As a man, you know, and I've certainly dropped the keys of things that I sing, so I can sort of like have a better register and a deeper sort of feel to the tone of my voice. So I don't readily do it. I do it live occasionally, but chosen moments.
Alan Grant asks, where's the weirdest place you've ever played? What about that mussel farm in Bulgaria? But you didn't play there, did you? Did you just stay there?
No. We played in Bulgaria with Dio's Disciples, and we got taken out to dinner by the mayor of this particular town. I forget the name of the town now, but he, I think he either owned a mussel farm or it was something to do with it. And we had every course was mussels, everything, barbecued, boiled, broiled, you know,
Dessert,
stew. And then I thought, and I was getting sick. I like mussels, but honestly, after sat down there for 3 hours eating nothing but mussels, it starts getting a bit boring. And I thought, and they said, oh, we're bringing out dessert. I thought, brilliant, mussels with cream on. I mean, that's exactly what it was. But I think the weirdest place we ever played, which was hilarious, is in Southern Ireland with the Little Angels. We did a Guinness pub tour, which was like right down south. I forget where we were, but we were literally the opening act in a working men's club, which was kind of attached to this Guinness pub. A room at the back of this Guinness pub, really. We were an opening act to a ventriloquist, which is quite funny. I mean, it literally was like Spinal Tap. We got turned up with all our gear and set up, and we're leaping around. So all these people stood around, sort of like looking a bit perturbed. We sort of did it, and we came off, and then they all rushed to the front. I thought, who's on after us? And it was a bloke and a ventriloquist dummy. That happened. I mean, that actually happened. We have played in some odd spots, but in the early days, early doors, we used to play the strangest little pubs and stuff, in corners, like, you know, lining up tables to make a stage and stuff like that. So, yeah, I have to think about that one. Yeah, I think
your turn.
the ventriloquist dummy one's the best one.
James asks, regarding your DJ role on Planet Rock, how much say do you have regarding the playlists? Are they 100% decided by you, or do they sort of decide? No,
the way radio works, commercial radio like Planet Rock, you know, and all other commercial radio stations, is essentially that they have a criteria of songs under headings. So and they have to buy. I think it's even sort of broadcast law that with that kind of demographic, if you like, you have to play a song from the 60s, a song from the 70s, a song from the 90s, a song, you know, etc., etc. And it has to be so basically everyone gets a fair shout. It's not just about one era or whatever. So I get the playlist from my producer, which is decided by him and a computer. And then I get what they call free play, so I'm allowed to decide on 2 or 3 songs that I can play. Plus, if I don't like anything on the playlist, I will ring James up, the producer, and say, James, can we play something else? And he'll give me some options, and will then decide. But by and large, the playlists are operated on a kind of like a playlist system with through this kind of computerized and all that. So I don't have a lot to say, but I have more than perhaps you would think, you know, sort of thing.
Jill Preston asks, tea or coffee?
Oh, coffee. But then again, tea, innit? But then again, tea. No, but coffee. But then again...
Anyway, move on.
Yeah.
What was it... Simon asks, what was it like narrating the Saxon documentary? Have you got any interesting, funny... And then he doesn't say anything. I think he means stories. Yeah.
Yeah.
Quite a few.
I got so many funny stories about... Oh dear. No, it was great fun. I mean, you know, I've been mates with Biff for a long time now. We met long time ago when Little Angels were opening for Saxon in Europe. And then we met them again, like he said on his podcast. I'd forgotten about it, but we met them at a studio because we went to meet their producer. They were using this guy called Stefan Galfas, and we went to, I think it was Dave Gilmour's studio, I think it was, something like that. Anyway, it was a beautiful studio. Went to meet him there, and then, of course, I got to know him from 2007 onwards, and he's a very, very funny bloke and a good mate of mine, and I've got more stories than you could possibly handle. But no, narrating it was a great honour. I loved it, really enjoyed it.
Marie McIntosh, any pre-gig rituals or superstitions?
I have quite a specific warm-up routine, which I feel ready for the stage once I've done it. It's nothing major. It's just some very basic stretches and then vocal warm-ups, some of which my daughter here has taught me and actually revolutionised my my sort of vocal warm-up, and it's really helped. So that's been really, really good. I tend to try and wear the same things. Once I get on a tour, if I've got like a shirt I like or a pair of jeans or something, I'll only have 2 or 3 things. It's a bit talisman-like. You sort of get, I think it's just a kind of like, especially if you do a good gig and you've really enjoyed, you think to yourself, well, what was I wearing? What was I doing? You know, and it's almost just like a bit of a, I don't know, just a way of sort of giving yourself a bit of comfort and hoping the same thing will repeat, you know. But not, I wouldn't say anything massive. There's no, yeah, basic. Who's next?
Oh, Alison asks, would you like to do some more acting work? If so, what sort of roles would you like?
Well, Alison, it wasn't really acting. It was glorified standing about eating donuts. Because that's the world of the film business, really, for you. Especially what I was doing, because you know, I started out as an extra, and then I had a sort of slightly more elevated role as a stand-in, which is where you do work with the actors of the film or the TV series that you're working on. But it's really a technical role more than anything else. You don't act or anything. I mean, I think acting's a very, it's a gift. I think it's the same as being a writer or a songwriter or a painter. I think you have it inherently in you. And I've witnessed this. I think Maddie's got a brilliant acting streak in her. Yeah. And but I've watched a lot of people on set. I mean, when I was doing the Band of Brothers thing, I stood in for Damien Lewis, who I thought was a very natural actor. There was a lot of other people on that TV series that were quite famous people I didn't think could act at all. But they kind of got away with it, you know, sort of thing. So it's a natural thing.
Tracy Hillhouse asks if you could have anyone cover any of your songs, whether it's Little Angels, Solo or Wayward Sons. Did we do this tonight, actually?
We did, yeah.
Oh, sorry.
All right, I'll answer it anyway.
Who did you say? Who would you like to
Well, like I said,
sing?
I would love somebody new, a new band, someone who's breaking through to use a Little Angel song or one of my songs. I think that would be fantastic. It'd be amazing if somebody very, very successful decided to cover one of my songs, but I think it's probably more likely with a band like Little Angels, with that catalogue that we've got, that somebody new would be looking for a song that they could then make their own, and it wasn't that well known. That's often the way it works. But I think that's the way I prefer it anyway, a new band reinterpreting the song.
G.J. Cooper asks, was it easy to launch your solo career post Little Angels? Did you want to be fully solo or front another band?
It was really tough, and I was a bit like a rabbit in the headlights. I tried to put together the Toby and the Whole Truth band and tried to tour it, but by that point my manager had left. I only had my agent, Mike Judney, who was a brilliant guy and helped me out. But really the whole thing came unstuck because I got poorly on the road, and that was mainly to do with stress, and I was smoking at the time and not looking after myself and all the rest of it. But it was difficult. I found it a lot more difficult than I anticipated. It was an enormous learning curve. So when I came back to performing again, and I started doing stuff in 2002 with the Refresh EP, it was I did things completely differently. I went totally independent, and I had some help from the independent sector to help me put it together. And it had been that learning curve of Ignorance is Bliss and the Toby and the Whole Truth band taught me an awful lot.
Leonard Hoggan says, I saw you support Van Halen with Little Angels in Sheffield back in '93. Did you get a chance to spend any time with the guys, and if so, what were they like?
I did answer this early on tonight as well, actually.
That's that as well.
Yeah, but no, I think I said before, Yes, we did. They were brilliant to us, and I will cover a lot of this stuff in my biography, which I'm starting to write at the moment. But they were fantastic people, and they were very supportive, and it couldn't have been a better tour for us. Really, brilliant.
Dean asks, my wife wants to know what colour the walls are in the kitchen.
What colour?
She's got me a job lined up this weekend.
He
wants to know what colour.
What is it? Is it some?
It's like a green.
Well, it's green, but I forget what it's called now.
I can't remember.
I think it was called something. Oh, pistachio.
Pistachio.
Pistachio green, and I think it was from Wix's, wasn't it? Like a Wix's own, nothing too posh.
Get on it, Dean.
Yeah, get on it, Dean. Paintbrush.
Oh, it's my turn. Sorry. Jamie Mankalo, any chance of re-releasing your acoustic CD with some extra tracks recorded from the lockdown sessions?
Yeah, thinking about all these things at the moment. It's just trying to find the best way to do it. So what I don't want to do is barrage people with stuff. Ignorance is going out at the moment. That's still on a pre-order, and we're hoping to get that out in July. So there's that's taken up a lot of effort to do that. I do want to re-record some stuff. I'd like to take some of the best of my solo work and go and re-record them, because I think I said on the Facebook Live tonight, I never really felt they got a fair crack of the whip. So I'm thinking about doing that. The acoustic CD was something that Nige Crooks put together, and he did a brilliant job of it. And we've talked about doing a second edition with more songs. But we'll see. I think it's just a case of trying to figure out what's best to do, so it doesn't overwhelm everyone and it kind of gets a bit lost. But yeah, I think we definitely will release some more acoustic stuff, without a doubt.
Giles says, hi Toby, I think I must have attended most of the Mr. Thrud and early Little Angels gigs in Scarborough and have had some great memories of those times.
Oh.
Looking back, do you have a favourite gig that sticks in your mind?
I think probably 2 shows in Scarborough. One was the first time we sold out the Stephen Joseph Theatre in the Round down in the bottom where it used to be. I forget what the name of the building was now, but anyway, where the old Theatre in the Round was. When we sold it out for the first time, it was a big deal for us because we'd been an opening act for a lot of bands, that had gone. Because my mate Paul Todd, who I'm still in touch with, Paul was the musical sort of director for Alan Ayckbourn and for the Stephen Joseph Theatre at the time, and he was a massive contemporary music fan, and he put on these things in the Square Cat, which was the cafe, if you remember, in the Theatre in the Round, and we used to do them every Sunday night, and they were absolutely brilliant. And we used to open for all these bands like Brendan Croker and all sorts of people. And eventually we headlined it and sold it out. It was only 110 people, I seem to remember, but it was a real big deal. And the other one was the Opera House. Before they knocked the Opera House down, we did our first ever proper big sellout show, and it was 1,000 tickets, and we sold it out completely. And that was just before we started. I think probably 6 months or so before we got signed. Maybe not quite as much as that, but it was a real big deal. It was a massive event for us. Mum.
Stephen Hope, do you love or hate Marmite?
Oh, I love Marmite.
Right, next, move on.
Oh
God. Okay, do you like Oasis?
I do. Early stuff. Yeah, I like I thought the first album was remarkable. There are moments where they returned to great things later on, but I thought the first album was as good as it got with that band. Absolutely fantastic stuff. Yeah.
Andy, hi Toby. What was it like working with Fast Eddie Clarke? Was lucky enough to catch you in Fastway supporting Saxon a few years ago.
I think I answered this one as well tonight. But yeah, it was great working with Ed. He was a tough taskmaster, and you knew exactly where you stood with him. He was not someone to suffer fools, and he had a very sharp tongue. If you got a tongue lashing from him, you knew about it. But he was a very steady bloke, and if you had him in your corner as a mate, then you had someone who was very, very loyal. I think I've sort of learned more about Eddie since he's passed away than perhaps I did whilst taking notice of him whilst he was alive, because a lot of our work together was, touring or working in a studio or whatever, or rehearsals. But I realise in hindsight how much he taught me, and it was an extraordinary experience to watch, especially watching all those fans on the Saxon tour react to him because of the Motorhead thing and all the rest of it. He was a brilliant guitar player. Never heard a better guitar sound live. Absolutely unbelievable.
This is actually a question for Maddie. Luann Roberts. If we asked your kids to describe you, what would they say?
Caring.
Hairy?
Caring!
Yeah.
And hairy. I'd say very caring. Very hardworking. A boss.
Really?
Yeah, you are a boss.
Oh, no.
Talented, obviously. And
some crap stuff. Well,
Stubborn.
yeah.
Tab would say stubborn.
Oh yeah. But I think everyone can be stubborn. But you are very stubborn.
I am pretty stubborn, yeah.
But yeah, I don't really know. There's not really one word to sum you up. Because there's Dad you.
Omnipotent.
And then there's Toby Jepson you.
Is there?
There's
What was two
completely
characters?
different ends of the spectrum. It's
Really?
like when you're my dad, you're who I know you as, and then when you're Toby Jepson, the rat star, it's like something I've had to get used to as a kid. But yeah.
Oh, thanks.
Right, Toby. Pat Kennedy said, who would be in your dream team, excluding your current and former bandmates? So 2 guitarists, bass, drums, keys, and 2 backing vocals as well. Go.
My dream team?
Who's in your dream band?
What? Are they allowed to be dead or alive?
Don't say.
Crying out. Oh, Brian May on guitar.
2 guitar players.
Oh, Eddie Van Halen.
Great.
Eddie Van Halen, Brian
Bass
May.
player?
Bass player Neil Murray.
Oh.
Probably back to the when he was on Ready and William period. If we could go back and drummer, probably. It'd be a toss up between John Bonham and flipping
Foo
heck.
Fighters.
Hey?
Dave Grohl.
Dave Grohl would be a good one, but I think Bonham is the epitome of the greatest drummer.
Keyboard player.
Keyboard player Don Airy.
2 backing vocalists.
2 backing vocalists would probably be David Bowie. That's a bit of cheeky, isn't it? And Freddie Mercury. Because then I could then say, you guys go and sing something, and I'll stand at the back, do the backing vocals, and I could just watch them in awe.
Right, Maddie.
Simon says, how can I stop everyone eating my Eccles cakes and Belgian buns during lockdown?
Smother them in mustard, and make sure it's English mustard.
Andy Catchpole. How does it feel when a packed crowd sings your lyrics? Better than a poke in the eye, I imagine.
Oh, unbelievable. That's what we do it for. I mean, the whole experience of I remember when John Bon Jovi said it in an interview, and when I talked to John when we talked with Bon Jovi about the same sort of things, he calls it action reaction. It's like you do something and people react to it, you know, and the ultimate action reaction is when everyone knows your song and you start to sing it and they react to that song and they start singing it back to you. That is an extraordinary experience, and my greatest experience of that was Hammersmith Odeon, the first time we headlined it as Little Angels on the Road Gods tour, and we started to play Products of the Working Class, and we stopped playing at the end because the whole of the crowd was doing the na-na bit, you know, and it was just it was extraordinary. I can remember it brought me to tears because just out of pure and utter joy that we managed to create something that everybody wanted to sing.
That wasn't a difficult lyric to sing.
Well, of course it wasn't. Well, of course it wasn't. But it was the energy. It's the energy that the crowd gives you, you know. And it's the same. It doesn't matter what they're singing.
I'm joking.
It doesn't matter what they're singing. The point is that the very fact they're even bothering to sing it in the first place is pretty amazing.
Yeah.
Right, I've got one more after this. Your Maddie.
Yeah, this is my last one actually.
Oh, that's good.
Stuart asks, hi Tobe, is it technically possible during lockdown for the Wayward Sons to do a live or recorded set of songs in a similar style to your busking sessions with chat in between? Just a thought I had previously, which some said was possible and others laughed at.
Well, no, there's been conversation about it. The trouble is that it's trying to pull all those threads together. You've got to kind of get a platform. I mean, some bands have managed to achieve it where they've recorded it. I think there's an app called Acapella or something like that. But it's actually putting it all together. We're all doing different things to basically try and make a living, you know, and try and pull the threads of this lockdown together. I mean, I've been absolutely flat out here every week for me is building up towards the Thursday nights, and I've got various other things going on, and it's been a real challenge. I wouldn't say no. We are talking about doing a couple of things. So, because a couple of the guys have got full-time jobs, outside of everything that we do, even though we're on lockdown, they're still working. So it's not quite as easy as you think. Let me just put it that way.
Last question then, John Bevis. When will we see Toby, the YouTuber? Well, you're going to do Patreon and TikTok.
Yeah, I'm doing. Well, I wasn't really made for these times, so I'm sort of being dragged, kicking and screaming by Rob and these two to get on with things. But I'm quite enjoying it. I'm not quite as kind of. I don't view it in the same way as most people. I think really. I see all of these things as a way of the fans being able to get involved and to demonstrate what I do. It's not. I don't have a huge business head for it, so I'll leave that to other people. So I'm just going to do what I possibly can. I mean, the YouTubing thing, I don't get that at all. I mean, it's amazing that there's young people out there that can play video games, but people watching them play video games and then those people making loads of money out of it, it's beyond me. It's a different world. And
so you are going to do a Patreon.
But we're doing Patreon, and there is a YouTube account, and we started looking at TikTok and all that stuff. I mean, I don't even know what it does, but So we do what we can, and the Patreon thing I'm excited about because that's an immersive experience for fans, and I like the idea of that because it gives access beyond the normal sort of run of the mill things. And it's, I think that'll be a good value for money.
That's it.
Thanks for joining us.
We're at the end.
And we will see you next time. Cheerio.
Bye-bye.
Bye.